Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to a new video. And this is going to be a tutorial video on how I edit my Rockband videos. I know a couple people asked how I edit my videos, especially one of them known as Crash Test Brit. Link to his channel because he's the one I can specifically remember, and he had a message about it. So there you go, and shout out to you. Anyway, let's go ahead and let me show you how I edit my videos. So before we get started, I'm just going to let you guys know I am using Sony Vegas. If you look at the top, Sony Vegas 11. It's not the Pro Edition. I did not want to shell out the $300 plus for it. It said this was like $50, so I just said to go ahead and grab it. And this works quite well for me. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to import your files. So you're going to want two different types of files when you're editing these videos. Obviously, you're going to want your in-game footage, and you want your external footage. So what you're going to want to do first is import your in-game footage, and this is before any editing takes place. What you want to do is find when the first note crosses the strike line. And if you don't know what the strike line is this little thing where, you know, you're supposed to hit the notes when they cross this line. That's the strike line. So what you want to do is go to your video and then find the one point where the first note crosses the line. So right there is my first, that is my first frame. So right there. And then I want to go to my external footage. So now I have that, move this out of the way. Take my external footage and do the same thing. And I'm going to want to find the point at where my first, and this time I'm going to want to find the first point at which my hand hits the strum bar right here. So right now I'm going to just scroll through it a little bit, scroll slowly, and then watch my hand, and right there. I want where my thumb, you see where my thumb kind of like, you know, goes down, like it bends back down all the way. So like if you look at this, you can look at like here, and then like there, it's not extended, that's extended. So that's the full bottom point of my stroke for strumming. So now what I do is move this one up so I can overlay it on top. Mute this track. I don't want to have the in-game or the external sounds going when I'm doing this one. Normally I don't do that, but sometimes I do it. That's about it. So we can go ahead and line up the tracks, and then make sure you just take these away from the beginning of the tracks. That way you can extend the in-game footage all the way out to its beginning point. Same with the external footage. You're going to want to extend it all the way to the same point that the in-game footage ends at. So then move them back. So now you have both your in-game footage synced up with your hand footage. And just for a test run, if I turn the sound back on for my external track, if I play it, you're going to hear when the strum notes come on, you'll hear my strums. So there you go. Now you can see it's all synced up. Now what you're going to want to do is back it up to the point where you want your footage starting at. So I want mine to start right when the loading screen goes away. So back it up a couple frames right there. Then back up your external footage. I almost said bark there. I apologize. Then move your footage back up to the beginning. And then what you're going to want to do is, this is where you can get stylistic. You can have it fade in at any point you want. I normally just go for the first strike line note, so right here is normally where I go. That's basically where I'm going to want to split the track. So if I back it up one more again, just trying to find that perfect point. Okay, so one forward. So that's that perfect point I want. I'm going to split this and then put this, actually I'm going to leave that there. But now I have it split, so that way I have just the beginning footage and then I have the in-game footage. Now we're going to go to the end of the footage and then edit the end of the video, because editing the beginning and the end is the easy part, but getting the middle part is the hard part. So just get the easy stuff out of the way first, and then you can move on to the later stuff. So what you're going to do is, for your in-game footage, find the point at which you want to switch back to your in-game, just like the way I mean, if you want to do it the way I do, always you can leave it the way, you know, with the external footage. But what I normally do is I wait for the part where the fretboard and everything on the screen floats away, and then it goes to like the character celebrating their rock-on performance or whatever it is. So what I want to do is find the first frame at which the chart tries to leave the screen. So that would be right here. I back up my external footage to there, and then just extend my in-game footage all the way to the end of its point, split it, and then just leave it alone. So now I have the end of the footage and the beginning of the footage, and now I have everything in the middle. So now to get the overlay of having the track on top of the external footage, what I did is I went to the cookie cutter effects, and I created my own preset tools, Rockband chart right side, left side, and top. And if you look at the effects themselves, if I go ahead and input this in, you're going to see it cuts off that section perfectly. Then if I go ahead and import the right side, it's going to cut off the right side of the chart. Then if you go to cut off the top, it cuts off the top perfectly. So now I made these presets, and you can go ahead and look at my presets. It's just an arrowhead upside down all the way in the corners. So the left side's all in the top left corner, just extended to a size that goes right to the chart. And the same thing with the right side, just vice versa. And the top is just a rectangle cutting off the top portion of the chart. It actually ends up working flawlessly in this game. I don't know of any other games that actually have it working quite this well, but this one works quite perfectly for me. Well, in all intents and purposes, making a simpler editing, I do this normally. And then what you're going to want to do, and this definitely helps with presets, once you have your cutoff, you're going to want to go into the track motion. And what you're going to want to do with this is you're going to edit it and move the track over to the right, so that way you can see the stuff behind you. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink this a little bit, move this out of the way. But you want to find this point on the track. So go ahead and we'll zoom in to this point, this frame. And if we look at the time, it says, we'll zoom in a little bit more, sorry. It says 12 seconds in the 14th frame. The way in Vegas, if you don't know how the time signature works, is it goes by hours, minutes, seconds, and then frame. So if you look at the frame number, this is the frame number. So I'm at the 12th second and the 14th frame, because I'm editing at 30 frames per second, or close to it. I'm editing at 30 frames, so go to the 14th frame at the 12th second, and then I'll find my split point. Now what you're going to want to do is go to position, click on the position track in this track motion, and then move it over to that same spot on here. So I'm going to want to find 12 seconds, which is right here with the video. But anyway, go back to the position track of here and go to that same point on your track. So 12 seconds, 14th frame. And what you're going to want to do is then I normally go 2 frames back and then add a keyframe. A keyframe is basically just a little point in time on the video where it will move the track or do whatever at a specific point. So in this case, it means that in this keyframe, it'll move the track to whatever position we want. So we want the keyframe to leave at here. We want to leave it alone where it is. That way it looks like it's in the in-game footage. Then what I normally do is I go 1 frame past where I want it to be at. So 12th, the 14th frame is where the split is at. I normally go 1 past that, insert a new keyframe, and then I created some templates, or if you want to call them templates, they're more like video layout procedures that help me edit and make it easier for me to get things done quickly. So it actually does help a lot if you want to do this frequently, is to make your own little kind of layout and like a chart of how you want to edit things. So like I have a track motion for the chart, I have the track motion for my score window, and then for my outro images, like the little outro image at the end of my videos, I have all the settings for that just saved right here, so I can just go put it in and then just go. It definitely makes it easier, and it gives you more time to do whatever you want and play more games, record more videos, and so on and so forth. So for the chart, for my intents and purposes, I want to move it to 560, and I want to move it to the right. So 560, positive. So put in 560, and it's going to move it perfectly over to the side where I want it. So now that that's out of the way, I can go ahead and close out the track motion. Actually, no way, I cannot. I forgot one crucial step, which is to go to the end of the video where I have the end split, find that time signature, and if I look at the time signature on this one, it's going to be at specifically 5 minutes, 7 seconds, and the 12th frame. So if I go into the track motion, I go to 5 minutes, 7 seconds, which is about here. Then I go to the 10th frame. I thought it was the 10th frame. I will be wrong. It's the 12th frame. My apologies. So if I go to the 12th frame, which is right there, then I go 2 back, add a keyframe, and that's where we're going to leave this alone. And then I go 1 past my point, add another keyframe, and this time I'm just going to do the opposite of what I did in the intro. So go 2 back, and then leave it at where it is, and then go one forward and then put it back to its original position. And you can just do that with right clicking and hit restore box, and that will restore its settings back to the way it is before. So now we have that out of the way. Now we need to line up the hand footage, so now I can see my hands, because the way I recorded it, I just record a whole box around myself, so that way I can just see the whole guitar in the frame, and it makes it easier for me to just kind of do it in post-production. So basically what you do here is just, with a track motion, you just kind of scoot it over to the left. So the negative 200 is normally what I do. And that makes it nice and easy. Just moves it over, and you can get a good clear shot of my hands moving on the frets and then my fingers on the strum bar. So now that that's out of the way, we can go ahead and we can add the score. What we can do is we can just go hold Control, copy it, and then just drag it up. So that's out of the way. I'm going to move this down, mute that track. So now I have my in-game track playing, then I have my external track muted and the other in-game track muted. So now with my score, there you go. Now that that's done, with the score, what you want to do is you want to get rid of the cookie cutter effect, and then you're going to throw on a border, soft edge, and then I'll give it a nice feathery look border to it, and that's exactly what you want. And change this, instead of 5%, change it to 3%. 3% just looks better, and it makes it, it's a nice feather touch, but it's not too much. 5% is normally a little too much. Anything way over 5% is just way too much feathering, and it can get really weird after a while with what you do with it. So just change this to 3%, and that's it. Now what you want to do with cropping is you're going to want to just basically crop the box and just move it around the score. And you're going to want to zoom in and make this as crystal clear of a box as you want around it. So let's restore it. I screwed up a little bit, so back up a little bit. And I'll excuse if you can hear people in the background. My dorm mates tend to be a little bit noisy at this time of night, but I apologize. So let's go ahead and keep going and get it the way we want it to look. If we go ahead and do this way, I rotated it again, so I'm going to do it just one more time. So just get it small, and then I can zoom in and then fix it from there. So there we go. Now that's almost exactly how I want it. I just want a little bit more top to it, and then move it down. So that's exactly how I want it. So now that that's done, all I have to do is just move it to the top right corner. If I go back to my layout, I go to the upper right. If I go to the track motion, basically I just copy and paste my numbers, and I put them in here. So my X is there, and then I just do this, copy and paste, and then I copy my width. And since make sure you keep aspect ratios on, so that way you only have to copy one of these in. It just makes it a lot easier for you to do it in the future. And do that, and there you go. It is perfectly centered exactly where I want it in the top right corner. It's out of the way, and it looks gorgeous in the corner, especially with the feather effect. It makes it nice and easy to do. And it kind of blends in with the background a little bit at key points in the Rockband video. So that's basically how I edit my Rockband videos. It takes me less time to do it now, especially with these things saved. It makes it easy to me to just kind of plop a video in, copy it, paste it, and just throw these things in and go. And if you want to go ahead and watch it as a preview, and if you want to see the track motion in action, I will go ahead and mute this track. Just so you know, when you're muting tracks, it makes it a lot easier to see your preview if you just want to see a key transition between different things. So if you just want to mute the score, it definitely makes it a lot faster to play. So if you watch it, you'll see the track motion occur once it comes up. And there you go, there's that. And if we go to the outro, which is right here, and play it, and it looks beautiful. It's exactly the way I wanted it to be. And there you go. So that's how I edit my Rockband videos. If this has helped you, please leave a like rating. Please subscribe for future videos, and I hope to catch you guys later. See ya.